So I'm scrolling through news today. Bit of a loss. What's going on that I can actually talk about tonight? And I stumble across this article almost as if it was just handed to me on a silver platter. Something I'm, on the one hand, thankful for because I have something to talk about. On the other hand, I'm not very thankful for it at all. Headline: Yumi Stynes and Dr. Melissa Kang, you two are in all sorts of trouble. Start that again. Yumi Stynes and Dr. Melissa Kang's sex book for kids sold at Big W sparks debate. First line: parents have raised concerns about a graphic sex book for children as young as 8 sold at Big W, while others have voiced their support. Of course, others have voiced their support. That's part of the problem. Welcome to Christianity Out Loud. Welcome to the Weekly Word. More info about me and everything I'm trying to do here below. Now, what I want to know, above all else, is why is this book being sold in what is a department store? Open, free department store, which has, looking at some of them, graphic images of male genitalia in, shall we say, various states of being, what you can and can't say here on YouTube. The book on sale for $16 contains detailed explanations behind certain activities that include, you know what? It's on Rumble. YouTube, don't care. Oral sex, fingering, anal sex, scissoring, hand jobs, porn, sexuality, and gender identity. Out in the open. Just for any child to go and pick up. Yeah, I put this up on the Facebook site and the Gator site and the Minds and Gab and a few other places today. And my comment, if I can quote myself, was that we used to live in a society where children were protected from adult concepts and were only taught the biology of sexual relations. And that's what we used to have. You know, man meets woman, that does that, that does that. Sperm meets egg, child. That's what it was. And those of us who went through that sort of, what would you call it, education, went, that's how babies are made. Now, I heard a very compelling argument, or a perspective rather, the other day. I can't remember who said it, but they actually argued against, or their perspective was that none of this should be in schools or taught to children in general, because for the past however many thousands, hundreds and thousands of years, we've managed to figure out that that's where children come from. That's the activity that creates children. We've managed to figure it out without all of these sorts of formal education programs that are delivered by teachers to your children. Someone else suggested the book was attempting to sexualize people prematurely. I mean, you don't say. You don't say. In an Instagram post, Stynes explained the book's purpose was to begin teaching children about sex and consent at a young age to combat the putrid effects of porn on real-world sex? Ah, okay. By teaching them about all sorts of things you find in pornographic film, pornographic material. Okay, here you are, 8-year-old child of mine. Before you discover pornography, I'm going to show you pornography. What's the difference? And if I can come at this from the point of being in the moral minority, as it would seem, the fact that that Big W put this on their shelves to start with, I mean, you want to talk about don't go and shop there. Well, parents, can you trust what other material Big W have? And there had better be an enormous outcry by every conservative, every libertarian, every sane-minded adult, let alone Christian, church leader, pastor, minister, organ player, don't care. There'd better be an enormous outcry about this. I'm at a stage where, I don't know what to do. The things that we are doing to children these days, the fact that we would just send anybody who's under the age of 18, the decision that they can make a decision on their own without parental consent to chop their own genitals off or have that performed upon them or start all sorts of hormonal treatment that causes utterly devastating effects. They can do that at age 15, but they can't drive. They can't purchase tobacco products. They can't purchase alcohol products. And this is being encouraged. Man, I'm sitting here looking at this page that is shown, again, on a freely available website. The link is below. The link to this article is below. You go and have a look at this and tell me whether you think your 8-year-old should be reading this. Questions for Dr. Melissa. I want to know what a 69 is. My friends talk about it, but I'm too embarrassed to tell them. I don't know. And then there is a page in explicit detail on what that activity involves. I mean, are you kidding me? Some parents couldn't wait to purchase a copy for their children. My goodness. A spokesperson for Big W defended the retailer's decision. Of course, because, hey, what moral standard do we need to have? Big W has a wide range of books and products that represents a, what? D word, diverse Australian community. Welcome to Sex is an educational, age-appropriate, inclusive, another one, plenty of buzzwords in this article, inclusive book featuring content from adolescent health experts that matches the development and early experiences of teens aged 12 to 15. Not to be picky, 12 is not a teenager because you're not 12 teen. It is shelved in parenting our books. It is shelved in parenting in our books section. That's a poorly written sentence. So parents can make their own decisions on what is appropriate for their family. Yeah, well, you know what, Big W? Apparently you have no moral standard either. Because what right do you have to put something that involves essentially pornographic images out for children to be able to access. It's grooming. That word gets thrown around so much these days that it's almost lost its meaning. But tell me, put a compelling argument together to tell me that Big W, Melissa Kang, Yumi Stynes, and anybody else associated with this book, put a compelling argument together, logically and coherently, and tell me how this is not grooming children. Put that argument to me. Don't go with the phobics. Don't go with any of that. Make the argument to me. Somebody in the comments below, if you so wish to comment, go to the website, find the contact me, send me a compelling argument that this is not grooming children. I wait. I would love to read the justification for why this book firstly needs to be written and secondly needs to be sold. In public. I mean, why don't we just make it a required reading for grade 7 students? Oh, grade 7, why wait that long? Why not make it a combined reading for students in grade 4? Make it part of the 5-6, that's the year levels that line up in the curriculum. Make it part of the grade 5-6 syllabus. Why not? I mean, that's the road we're going down, a road of utter sexual debauchery. But hey, why not? I mean, God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah for less than what we are doing today. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm some old-fashioned, uptight person who's just so out of touch with my own sexual liberation. Tell me that. Make that argument to me. Make the argument to me that my children at 11 and nearly 8 need to sit down and read this book because it will open their eyes to a world that they didn't know existed at aged 11 and 8. They need to know exists. Make that argument to me. Again, go link to the website, go to the contact me, make that argument, send it through. Co-author Yumi Stynes says the book is for 10 to 15-year-olds, but she'd be happy with a mature 8-year-old having a flick through. Oh, good. Let's teach an 8-year-old about oral sex. I'll let you ponder on that for a minute before I repeat myself. Yumi Stynes would be happy if an 8-year-old read explicit instruction on how to undertake a 69. I mean, there's a warning. There's a warning in Scripture. And I know a lot of people don't read Scripture these days. A lot of Christians don't read Scripture these days. But there's a warning nonetheless. It said it would be better to have a millstone tied around your neck and you to be thrown into the depths than if you caused one of these little ones to sin. That's a fairly big statement. But since Jesus said it, I'm willing to sit and pay attention. I wonder what he meant by that. I'd say a good start would not be teaching 8-year-olds about how to perform a 69. That'd be an outstanding start. Let's not teach 10-year-olds about fingering, or anal sex, or scissoring, or hand jobs, or porn, or sexuality, or gender identity. How about we don't do that? Just as a line in the sand. And that actually brings me to the next book, which I'll be doing a launch, sort of just an online launch similar to this video, where I talk about it and tell you where you can get it, what it's about and all of that. But the topic is, or the title, the Kindle version is available. I posted a link to that a little while ago. I'll put a link to it below again. The Kindle version is available. Once the hard copies, the paper and hard copies are good to go, I'll then do the launch. But it's titled Dear Church. And it's titled Dear Church because this stuff shouldn't be happening. We were the moral standard. Yeah, we didn't do everything well. Acknowledged. Don't need to keep acknowledging that. Maybe we do. But we ourselves revere someone like David. We revere him, a man so obviously and evidently flawed. We read his Psalms. We place him as a man of faith, so worthy that a lot of his writing and his story is contained within our Old Testament. It's how much regard we have for a man who I said was so obviously and evidently flawed. And yes, the church is obviously and evidently, by its inherent nature of being filled with people, flawed, because people are inherently flawed. But that doesn't mean the moral standard of not showing 8-year-old children how to have anal sex, it doesn't mean that that standard is wrong. Now, I'm going to send this link to as many Christian leaders, as many politicians, as many people, influencers as I can. This book needs to be pulled off the shelves. This book needs to be taken out of print. Sorry. That's it. There is no other word for it aside from Yumi Stynes and Dr. Melissa Kang. You are grooming children. And I don't think that's the right thing to do. And on that utterly pessimistic note, until next week, God help us